Hi, good afternoon. It's Sandy, your work-at-home grandma, coming to you today with another installment of the Rubies series. Thanks for tuning in. First of all, I want to talk a little bit about what happened last week in our series. If you're following the series along, you know that Marty was married against her mother's wishes, and she had a baby, a little boy, and she is forced to live in a tar paper shack in Brainerd, Minnesota with her husband, Sonny. The marriage started out pretty good. Sonny was attentive and a great husband, but it wasn't long into the marriage that Sonny began to waver and started to, Marty noticed his flirtatious ways and some of his habits of going to work, staying overnight, taking lots of jobs out of town to be away from her. This bothered her a great deal, and when Sonny came home on his leaves from his jobs, he didn't seem overly anxious to have his sexual desires fulfilled by his wife. He seemed to be quite happy with the situation, and this really bothered Marty. So she did have a little suspicion going on during this time. So what happens now is that Sonny decides, gee, I'm so tired of working all these jobs, I need to go back to school and learn a trade. So as we well know that Kaya, Marty's mom, and dad, Christian, now live in Minneapolis, where they have a house there. So Sonny and Marty proceed to pack up and go to Minneapolis and ask if they can live with Kaya and Christian for a time while he goes to school. Well, they live with them for a time period until finally what happens is the school's almost finished and it's time to go back to Brainerd. But instead, Kaya and Christian decide that Kaya's heart is so much better, they'd like to go back to their home in Morton and stay there. So they pack up and they leave, and Sonny and Marty are on their own. Well, things proceed quite nicely for a short time. Sonny's just thrilled to death that his in-laws are leaving finally and he'll have freedom to do what he wants. Unfortunately, it doesn't work out very well because Sonny begins to stay out late at night, drink, spend time with his friends, and pretty soon he whittles away all the money. And unfortunately, there's a baby to feed. So he leaves Marty alone most of the time, and when he does come home, they bicker and fight. This goes on for quite some time, and Marty is just ready to pack up and go back to Morton and live with her parents when Sonny is arrested for robbing a gas station. He blames Marty, saying that he did it because they were out of food and they had no money, and it's all her fault for complaining. The unfortunate part is in the car with Sonny while he was arrested is another woman. And so Marty is just devastated. So Sonny is arrested and he's convicted of robbery. Thankfully not armed robbery, so he gets a 3-year prison stint in St. Cloud Reformatory in Minnesota. And he is sent away, and Marty's living alone in Minneapolis. And that's where we pick up our story today, with Marty just getting ready to go visit Sonny and thinking about everything that's happened to her. And we capture our story at the reformatory where Marty goes to visit Sonny, and then afterwards when she has to face her parents and William and tell William what has really happened in her life. Thanks for tuning in today, and I hope that you enjoy the excerpt that is below on my website, and that you'll tune in from week to week for more and more of Rubies Escaping the Curse.